Have you ever wondered what drives a man with everything to chase the impossible in the most unlikely places? It was a headline that most Americans barely noticed. Buried between politics and celebrity gossip, Elon Musk eyes Colombia for next big move. But for those who paid attention, it raised an eyebrow. Colombia? Not Brazil, with its massive economy? Not Mexico, with its proximity to the U.S.? Why would the richest man on earth turn his gaze toward a country still wrestling with its own shadows of the past? If you think this is just another business expansion story, think again. What I'm about to share goes far deeper. It's a story of dreams, risks, and the battle between progress and preservation. Isabella Cruz wiped the sweat from her brow as she adjusted her helmet under the blazing sun. The Magdalena River stretched far into the horizon, weaving through Colombia's lush green heart. For Isabella, a 32-year-old civil engineer from Medellin, this river was not just water, it was life. Her latest project, a sustainable energy farm powered by solar and hydro innovations, was supposed to be her greatest legacy. But rumors were stirring. Big rumors. Word had it that Musk's representatives had been quietly buying up parcels of land around the Magdalena Basin. The official story? Expanding Starlink's satellite ground stations to bring internet access to rural Colombia. The unofficial whispers? That he had something far bigger in mind, a massive smart city project that would reshape the very fabric of the region. And Isabella's modest project? It sat right in the center of it. Elon Musk's journey was anything but typical. Born in Pretoria, South Africa, he had built a legend out of doing the impossible. Tesla defied the auto industry, SpaceX reimagined space travel, and Neuralink dared to tinker with the human brain itself. In 2022, Musk shocked the world again by buying Twitter, now X, and transforming it into a platform for his digital empire. Musk wasn't just a businessman. He was a force of nature, an idea machine powered by visions too wild for most boardrooms. He didn't move randomly. Every decision was a step in a much larger, often hidden, plan. So why Colombia? If you looked closely, you'd see a pattern. Colombia's government was offering generous tax incentives to attract foreign tech investment. The country's growing youth population, bright, hungry, and digitally connected, made it fertile ground for Musk's digital expansion dreams. And the land itself? Vast, cheap, and largely untapped. But that wasn't all. Colombia was strategically positioned between two oceans, a gateway not just to Latin America, but to the world. Its challenging terrain also made it an ideal testing ground for Musk's next-level infrastructure ambitions, sustainable cities powered entirely by solar grids, Hyperloop transport corridors connecting remote villages to megacities, and even experimental AI-driven agriculture. It sounded like a sci-fi utopia. But for people like Isabella, who had spent years working alongside local farmers and indigenous leaders to protect the land, it sounded like a ticking time bomb. The first time Isabella heard about Musk's plan, it was over coffee with Diego, an old friend who worked at the Ministry of Technology. "They're calling it Project Aurora," Diego said, stirring his coffee absent-mindedly. "Starlink is just the beginning. The real prize is a smart city, vertical farms, AI-run schools, renewable grids." Isabella leaned in, heart-pounding. "And our projects? Our communities?" Diego looked away. "Collateral damage. Unless what? Unless someone can get his attention before the contracts are signed." That night, Isabella sat by the river, staring at the stars. Somewhere out there, Elon Musk was charting the future. But futures, she knew, were not written by fate alone. They were written by those bold enough to stand up and shape them. As the warm breeze whispered across the Magdalena, Isabella made her decision. She would find a way to meet Musk. Not to fight him, but to show him a different vision, one that didn't erase the people and the soul of the land. Somewhere between the stars and the river, she would bridge the impossible. And little did she know, that decision would change not only her life but the destiny of an entire nation. The next morning, Isabella woke up with a fire burning inside her. Her coffee sat untouched as she mapped out the daunting path ahead. How do you get the attention of the busiest man on Earth? She knew one thing: she couldn't do it alone. Her first call was to Mateo, a childhood friend who had since become a renowned tech journalist based in Bogota. If anyone could help her build a narrative powerful enough to reach Musk, it was him. "Isabella, are you out of your mind?" Mateo exclaimed after she laid out her plan. "You want me to broadcast a message to Elon Musk? This isn't just a story, this is a revolution you're talking about." "Exactly," Isabella said, her voice steady. "If we don't act now, everything we've built will be bulldozed under a utopian fantasy." Mateo sighed, then smiled. "All right. Let's make some noise." Over the next few weeks, Isabella and Mateo launched Project Rooted, a viral online campaign highlighting the beauty of Colombia's communities, ecosystems, and the human faces that would be displaced by Musk's plans. They used drone footage of the Magdalena River, interviews with farmers, children coding in rural schools, and powerful messages about preserving culture in the face of unchecked modernization. Hashtags like #RootedInColombia and #FutureWithRoots started trending across Latin America. Still, Musk remained silent. Meanwhile, Elon Musk was preparing for a private technology summit in Medellin. Only a select group of politicians, investors, and tech elites were invited. Isabella needed a ticket. Through a series of frantic calls and last-minute favors, Diego managed to secure her a guest badge, under the radar. The night of the summit, the city buzzed with excitement. Medellin's skyline glowed like a constellation as dignitaries and innovators gathered in the sleek convention center. Isabella, dressed simply but confidently, slipped through the crowds. She wasn't here to make small talk. She was here for one man. When Musk finally took the stage, the room went still. His presence was magnetic. He spoke passionately about Project Aurora, promising to transform Colombia into a model of futuristic living. Applause thundered through the hall. But Isabella's heart sank. In Musk's grand vision, there was no mention of the communities already living on that land, no acknowledgement of the culture, the people, the soul. After the speech, there was a brief networking session. Isabella knew this was her only chance. She weaved through the crowd, dodging suited executives and curious onlookers. And then, there he was. Standing alone, momentarily unguarded, checking his phone. Summoning every ounce of courage, she stepped forward. "Mr. Musk?" He glanced up, his eyes sharp and curious. "I'm Isabella Cruz. I need just 5 minutes of your time. It could change everything." To her astonishment, Musk tucked away his phone and nodded. "Walk with me," he said. Her heart raced as they moved through the glowing corridors of the center. For the first time, Isabella realized this wasn't just about saving her project. It was about challenging a titan, and maybe, just maybe, changing the future itself. The hallway seemed endless, the buzz of the summit fading behind them. "So," Musk said casually, slipping his phone into his pocket, "what's so important that you chased me down tonight?" Isabella took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her entire community on her shoulders. "It's about more than just technology," she said. "It's about preserving what makes this land extraordinary." He cocked his head slightly, intrigued but noncommittal. "Project Aurora sounds revolutionary on paper. But you're seeing Colombia like a blank slate," Isabella continued. "It isn't. It's a living, breathing place with cultures, families, histories woven into the land. You can't erase that with skyscrapers and solar grids." Musk paused, staring out the massive glass windows at Medellin's sparkling skyline. "Progress demands sacrifice," he said quietly. "It always has." Isabella felt a surge of anger and sadness. "Then it's not progress, it's conquest." He turned back to her, one eyebrow raised. "You talk about saving humanity," she pressed, her voice growing stronger. "About Mars, about sustainability, about the future. But what future are you building if it erases the very soul of the people you're supposed to help?" Musk's eyes narrowed slightly, but there was no anger, only curiosity. It was rare for someone to challenge him so directly, and rarer still for him to listen. They stepped onto a balcony, the night air cool against their faces. Medellin sprawled out beneath them, 1,000 dreams twinkling against the darkness. "What would you have me do?" he asked at last, almost with a hint of amusement. "Partner with us," Isabella said. "Build Project Aurora with the people who live here, not just for them. Integrate their knowledge, their dreams. Co-create, not impose." Musk was silent for a long moment, tapping a finger lightly against the balcony rail. "Co-creation is messy," he said finally. "It's slow. Investors hate slow. But legacies," Isabella replied, stepping closer, "are built slowly. The ones who rush leave ruins. The ones who listen leave monuments." A small smile played at the corners of Musk's mouth, half skepticism, half admiration. "You have fire," he said simply. "I have hope," Isabella replied. "And I believe you do too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be standing here." He pulled out his phone, unlocked it, and opened a new contact. "Send me everything," Musk said. "Your project plans. Your vision. Your people. Show me what you're fighting for." Isabella blinked, stunned. "Seriously?" "Seriously," Musk said, a twinkle in his eye. "You've earned 5 minutes of my time. Maybe more." Isabella reached into her bag, pulling out a neatly prepared folder, something she had stayed up all night perfecting. She handed it to him with trembling hands. As Musk flipped through the documents, photos of children studying in solar-lit schools, farmers harvesting with AI-driven irrigation systems, artists weaving ancient traditions into modern cities, something shifted in his demeanor. He looked up at her. "This," he said slowly, "is different." Isabella allowed herself a small, fierce smile. "Colombia is different." For the first time in a long time, Elon Musk didn't have all the answers. And that, she realized, was exactly what made change possible. Their conversation stretched deep into the night, challenging ideas, debating futures, trading dreams like currency. It wasn't a victory. Not yet. But it was a crack in the door. And sometimes, all you need is a crack. Weeks passed. Emails were exchanged. Meetings were held. Skeptical investors raised eyebrows at the idea of slowing down for the sake of cultural integration, but Musk, true to his word, insisted on reevaluating Project Aurora. Isabella found herself in rooms she had never imagined entering, conference halls filled with venture capitalists, architects, and government officials. Her voice, once small against the tide, grew stronger with each presentation. She was no longer just fighting for her project. She was fighting for a vision of progress that honored both innovation and humanity. And Musk listened. Not just with politeness, but with genuine curiosity. Bit by bit, Project Aurora transformed. Local communities were brought in as collaborators, not obstacles. Sustainable housing projects were co-designed with Colombian architects who understood the land. Indigenous leaders were consulted about preserving sacred sites. Solar farms were integrated with traditional agricultural practices. The world watched in amazement as the story unfolded. What had started as a tech empire's expansion became a blueprint for ethical innovation, a model for building the future without erasing the past. Standing once again by the Magdalena River months later, Isabella watched as children raced across a newly built solar-powered community center, their laughter echoing across the water. Beside her, Musk surveyed the scene quietly. "You were right," he said simply. "We were right," Isabella corrected. He smiled, a rare, genuine smile. True progress doesn't bulldoze the past, it builds upon it. Legacy is not measured by speed, but by impact. Listening is the most powerful tool of leadership. Partnerships rooted in respect create futures worth living for. In a world obsessed with moving faster, Isabella and Musk had proven that sometimes slowing down changes everything. If you feel inspired by their journey and want to keep your momentum alive, consider diving into 2 transformative books, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, A masterclass in turning challenges into opportunities, just as Isabella turned resistance into revolution, and Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance by Angela Duckworth. A reminder that persistence, not talent alone, shapes our greatest victories. Both books have shaped leaders, dreamers, and changemakers, and they can shape you too. If Isabella's story sparked something inside you, a dream, a question, a fire, don't let it fade. Choose to act. Choose to listen. Choose to build. And if you're ready to start, grab a copy of The Obstacle is the Way or Grit today. Let these guides help you carve your own path to a future worth fighting for. The future doesn't belong to the loudest voices. It belongs to the ones who dare to listen, to build, and to believe. The seeds of tomorrow are in your hands. What will you grow?